What's up guys, it's NimbleThor here and welcome back to my mobile gaming quest of covering a new mobile game every single day. And today we are playing what is probably the most hardcore turn-based RPG I've ever played. Maybe it might even be the most hardcore RPG that you guys will ever play, and it's called D.Survival. And it released earlier in 2018. But I might just have found a sneaky little trick that will make this super hardcore game a bit easier for you guys, and we're gonna get into that later on in this video. But now, before we get too deep into this game, I feel I have to address the fact that this game does seem to be a pretty accurate clone of another game called Darkest Dungeon. But as far as I've been able to tell, the art is still 100% original, all of it. And it seems that there is even being worked on a follow-up to this game from these developers called D.Survival 2, I think. At least they posted something about that on their Facebook page. Now, in addition to that, it seems the developers of Darkest Dungeon, the game that this one seems to be a copy of, have no intention of making a version of the game for iPhones and Android. So I think there's very little harm done, even though, yes, this is definitely sort of a copycat game, but I still really enjoy it, and I think you guys just might enjoy it as well. Now, one of the reasons this game is so extremely difficult and very, very punishing is the fact that we will not recover HP. We won't recover HP in this level, and even when we go back to town, our heroes will still not have recovered their HP. The only way to recover HP from our heroes, or for our heroes, is to have them spend a few days at the inn. And when they're at the inn, obviously they won't be able to fight with us alongside these other heroes, so we need a different team of heroes. Luckily, we can de-equip all the items that we've got equipped on these heroes while they're taking a rest at the inn, but it's still a pretty hardcore system. And if our heroes die, they are gone for good. Now, we can, of course, through in-app purchases, recover our heroes completely. Some of you guys might not like that system, but honestly, I think it's a totally fine way to monetize, because you probably won't need it that much if you play your cards correctly, and once you've died once, you definitely know to be careful the next time around. Also, we do have the option to attempt to actually escape from a battle, so if you're in a tough situation, just do that. Don't let your heroes die, just try to escape, get out of there as quickly as you can. Now, another thing that makes this game difficult is the fact that we are told very, very little to begin with in this game. There's a very short tutorial, but after that, we're pretty much on our own and we have to discover everything for ourselves. I know that some of you guys will probably like that, whereas for some, you guys will probably find the lack of a proper introduction or tutorial very frustrating. I don't know, let me know what you think about that in the comment section down below. I found it quite nice for once to actually play a game. Oh, would you look at that? That's a glitch. We can see the town in the background. That's a glitch. But anyway, I was just saying that I, for one, find it interesting to have a game that for once has me explore everything instead of telling me exactly what I have to do. Now, the next thing that makes this game so difficult, or at least very hardcore, is the fact that the order of our heroes actually matters a lot. Some of our heroes, and there are 9 different classes by the way, but some of them will only be able to do certain attacks when they're in the second row or third row, for example. Right now we have this healer, this cleric, in the first row, and the issue with that is that we cannot use her healing skill when she's in the first row. So the only thing we can do right now is to either move her one position back, that will spend her turn, so we won't be able to heal this turn no matter what, or we can do an attack with her. Honestly, I think I'm just gonna move her back here, and then with this one we're gonna use the stun effect, because this guy that we're fighting in the first row on the opponent's side, he is able to move some of our heroes back, and that's really frustrating when we know exactly where we want our heroes to be if he keeps moving us backwards. So now we can heal a bit here. We definitely need that heal because our heroes do not have a lot of HP, so we might just have to put them into the inn, have them recover some HP, and go, move on with our backup team of heroes. But let us just pick up the last items here and go have a look at that. So we are 100% done with this dungeon now. So now we can go back to the city to talk about some of the other game features, and then we're gonna go into one more fight, and I'll talk about my little trick for how to make this game a tiny bit easier. But first, let's have a look at the inn over here. Right now, there are no heroes in here. And you know what? Because I want to show the trick, I'm going to stick with my team of heroes. But typically, I would probably put some of them into the inn, and they're going to recover, I think, about 10%, 10 to 24% of HP every in-game day. Not real-life day, but in-game day. Apart from that, we have a shop over here where we can buy items, pretty typical stuff. We have a warehouse, which is essentially a bank. And then we have the mercenary post where we can hire new heroes. So luckily, when we die, some of our heroes will eventually die. They'll end up in the cemetery over here. we can just hire a new team essentially. It's just very important that if you can, take off the gear of your heroes first, because it is gonna take a long time to get proper equipment for your heroes. This one seemed to have some new items that she could equip. I just used the auto equip here. Another thing about this game, by the way, is that each of these heroes have a certain trait, and this trait can change over time because there's a random chance to get a new trait. But for example, this one has black humor, which means that we are going to recover 10% of HP for the entire team randomly in battle. But this hero is also a kleptomania, which means the character will randomly steal an item. I just love that. It's really interesting. It adds a lot of depth to each of these characters. But now, let's embark on another journey here. We don't want to play one that's all too difficult, so I'm probably going to go for zone. Let's see. I'm going to go for zone 2 again, just because we do not have a lot of HP. And really, I just want to show you guys the hint, the little trick that I hinted at earlier in this video. So to do this trick, all you need is to make sure that you have a cleric on your team, and then let me just show you guys what you're gonna do. First, you're gonna take out all of the opponents except for one hero, and then what you're gonna do is you're just gonna skip turn here with this guy, and then we're gonna heal with the cleric. Then, look at this, guys, we can just skip this turn, and it's the opponent's turn. We can skip this turn, we can skip this turn, and we can heal with the cleric, and we can continue doing that over and over again. And as long as the damage that we take from the opponent is less than the amount of damage that we can heal, or HP that we can heal every time, we're gonna be completely fine, you know. So we take about 5 damage, and we heal 22. And yes, this is a very long procedure. It's gonna take a long time to do this, but it is a way that I have used this strategy, and it helped me get through level 3 actually. So it does work, and I would definitely recommend it because it makes it much easier. So the only thing you have to make sure is that you have a cleric on your team. So if you guys see a cleric back in town, definitely make sure to hire it. It makes a big difference. Also, this is the type of game where you will probably have to go back and grind some levels until you get good enough equipment so that you can actually defeat the higher level enemies, because some of these enemies get very difficult very early on. So just so you want, be prepared for some grind in this game. But overall, I really like the game. It has 9 different classes. Each of these classes and heroes have unique skills, as you've seen already. We talked about most of it already. The fact that we have to move our heroes around sometimes to be able to use certain skills. I find that to be a very interesting system as well. There's a trap there that we successfully disabled, luckily. Otherwise, we're going to take damage from that as well. And overall, I just really like this game. I'm looking forward to the follow-up to this game. I think that's going to be even better. I like the trait system that will trigger randomly during combat, and you know, each of our different heroes, as we already covered, has a different trait. I love that system. So guys, let me know what you think about it in the comment section down below. Lastly, I just wanted to say that in terms of monetization, as I already mentioned, we can revive heroes by spending real-life money, and we can also buy some heroes directly, immediately, through in-app purchases. So getting some really good heroes will definitely be easier if you spend real-life money on the game. But I really want to emphasize that I've never felt the need to do so, and so far, I've just really enjoyed the game for what it is. Yes, in the very beginning, one of my heroes died. Yes, it sucked, but, you know, it's just part of the game. You learn that, and then you learn to be more careful from there on. So now for the mobile gaming news of the day, which is that a former director from Hearthstone, who has worked for Blizzard for 15 years, called Ben Brode, started a new studio last year, and now it seems he has secured not only a licensing agreement for a new Marvel game, so yes, we'll be getting another Marvel game for mobile. I'm really hoping it's going to be an awesome one, but also he has received, or the studio has received, $30 million in investment from NetEase. So whichever games they're going to develop, they might just be published by NetEase, or maybe they're going to be published by the studio, but at least with support from NetEase. So that's interesting. If you guys like Marvel, there's something you can look forward to. It's probably going to take a year or maybe 2 years, maybe in 3 years before the full game is out. But at least a new Marvel game is coming, and that's the news for today. Guys, I really appreciate that you decided to stick around to the end of this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, be sure to leave a like. Maybe consider sharing this video with a friend. Subscribe if you're new to the channel. And until next time, most importantly, just keep gaming, stay awesome, and I'll see you guys around.